Welcome to another edition of RBN Live Tuesdays. It's a little bit different today. Normally we start at 1 and it's all of us. But we had Wyatt Reed, a international anti-imperialist journalist, scheduled for an interview to talk about what recently happened to him with the bombing at his hotels. It was the shelling at his hotels that if he was there like a minute right before that, he would have been dead. So brought him on, we were bringing him on to an hour before our normal time and then just kind of making it all one stream. But he had to reschedule last minute, like literally right before the show. So had to change the graphic and add a different topic. That's why you see me here by myself, just to kind of cover that space that the interview would have been. And I'm here to talk about so the topic that I added was the Bernie Sanders topic to the right. Bernie's latest sheepherding. This was gonna be my show for my show tomorrow, but I was like, oh, I can insert this in today in this space where Wyatt Reed interview would have been. So just giving you the lowdown. So because Wyatt Reed initially was the one pictured on the right where Bernie Sanders is, and we had to change that graphic and add this topic. So that's just to get you up to date on kind of what the different scheduling is like today. Now anyone can drop in. Nick, JB, Sabby, Rome. I'm not sure if Sabby would because she works and she kind of, I think during her lunch she comes in on the stream with us. So hopefully if she can, but anybody is welcome if you're watching. I don't know if anybody's watching because we don't start normally until 1, so they may not be watching yet. But we're gonna cover this segment about Bernie Sanders' latest sheepdogging efforts. And let me close this one. And but first, as always, we're gonna shout out a couple of things, a couple of announcements. Of course, as we've been talking about for a while, we have the Activist Summit that's coming up October 22nd to October 23rd, and October 23rd, I should say. Wait a second here. I gotta update this other number. So this is just this is technically our second annual Activist Summit, but the subtitle of it, since the focus this time is on activists, the subtitle is Activist Summit. Let me update our subscriber. 2, 3, 4. I think that's what that says. All right, and if you're brand new, subscribe today. 23,234 is where we're at as I'm speaking. Join if you haven't already done so, and I think I've covered everything except like this stream. Last time I checked, we're at 66. That's awesome. Let's see if we can push it to maybe 85. Let's get some more people in here for this discussion about Bernie Sanders, because I do think it's a discussion that oops, I'm gonna go to the chat check right now. Let me start from the top though. I do think it's a discussion that needs to be had. Not needs to be had, but it's something that needs to be called out that Bernie Sanders is doing right now. Tulsi said aloha to the Democratic Party when she gave up her chair and supported Bernie. I thought it was after that, but I put out a tweet saying, forgive me or something like this. But I thought she had already left the Democratic Party. That's what I thought she already did. So it's kind of like thinking somebody who's dead for 5 years, then you're hearing that person just died. It's like, well, I already been through the internal emotions about this person dying. So it's like, I already went through this, you not being a part of the Democratic Party. Curious if she will go to the Forward Party. That would be actually curious. Also, where was I? Sorry if you can hear my. Where was I? Electoralism is a rigged system, is a dead end. Tulsi is a Klaus Schwab aligned status quo justifying charlatan operator. And Klaus Schwab is the one who runs the WEP. Is it World Economic Forum? Yeah, WEF. World Economic Forum. If you know about the Great Reset, you know all about him. This was me just letting you know, last minute adjustments starting soon. Let me know though what states you're in, and that's what I'll shout out right now. So New York, we have Tennessee. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but you're near the capital, the district. District, I think that's New York. I was thinking you were saying the capital, DC. And we have our international flavor. Is it Amsterdam? Is NL? Is that Netherlands? Is that the abbreviation for Netherlands? I believe. Does anyone who's not D or R actually care about Gabbard leaving the party? That's a great point. That's a great point. Tulsi becoming an independent, though. She's not joining the Republican Party. Her policies are funding racist cops and garbage. Oh, so she's not joining the Republican Party. I don't know why I was hearing people tweet or seeing people tweet that. We have Calgary, Canada. And let me go back up because I had skipped something up here. Maybe. Oh, this one. Tulsi grifting for GOP donors. Washington State. We are ready. Oakland legend. What's up, Bryce? Colorado. So we have people watching and listening all over the world. Actually, I was gonna say United States, but actually the world. Okay, so she's not a party affiliate. Thank you. Wow. Finally got to join a live. All right, Christian, you're in for a good one because this is going to be a longer than normal because of this added segment to cover for that Wyatt Reed interview. So this is going to actually be a bonus sort of RBN, but let's get into it. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen Bernie Sanders put out a video called Midterms. And it's basically it's a shameless video. Actually, let me do this. We have 98 likes, 145 people watching. Please like the stream. Let's try to get to 125. And then there was one other thing I have forgot that I'm looking for. Hang on a second here. Very important. I thought it was. Oh, it's scrolling at the bottom. That's why. Join our Substack there, scrolling at the bottom if you want notifications of unannounced streams or adjustments like this. You know, if you normally watch at 1, you would have been notified that we had a different start time today. If you're on our Substack, so our Substack is scrolling at the bottom along with our Patreon. If you're able to be a monthly Patreon member, please do. Every dollar counts. So all right, so let's get into it. If you haven't seen the video, that's what we're going to be covering for this short segment. Actually, let me just replace it here instead of switching windows. So if you haven't watched it, you're in for a treat. It's under 10 minutes. Hopefully this will be long enough to.
No, I know.
So if you're watching, any RBN members, join whenever you want. You're here early. That's great. So here's Bernie. It's just sad to see Bernie in this situation. Because it's like the things that he's saying that you're going to see in this video. just doesn't make you feel good when you're a person that feel like he's the guy that sort of brought you to your political awakening. It's just not a good feeling to see that this is what it's come to for this for Bernie Sanders. So let's watch Bernie. Let me I'll shake the titles down so you can see the caption here. I'll pop it up every now and then. Helps with the editing and the post.
Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who don't pay much attention to midterm elections. In fact, many Americans don't even know who's running for Congress in their district or for the U.S. Senate in their state or for governor. And they're thinking, it's not a presidential election. What's the big deal? Why should I go out and vote? Why should I knock on doors or work on a campaign? Who cares? Well, if you are one of those people, and that's what you're thinking, let me be very clear. You are dead wrong. The election in 5 weeks is the most important midterm election in the modern history of this country.
We're here for a midterm. We're already here using this is the most important election. He just added the midterm part. We're already here, people. We're already using it's the most important election of our lifetimes, but it's the most important midterm election in modern history. Wow, so that's what they got him out here doing. And all the things that he want to get done, all the progressive measures, they're like swatting all that away. But he still goes on and plays, tap dances for the Democratic establishment. It's not doesn't give you a good feeling. Let's listen to some more.
Country, and to a very significant degree, will determine the future of the United States of America, and it will have a major impact on your life and the life of your family. Yes, it does matter a whole lot who controls the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House. And let me tell you why. We are living in...
Right, do you have to tell us why? Like, really, like when you're the party in power, do you have to tell us why? Or we can just go, what the people who have been in power have been doing a great job, and we better keep them motherfuckers in there. Or are we going, this shit is terrible? You're already in power. This is why this sheepherding, this peddling the Democratic Party like this, it's so sad because they're in power. You're in power. You're already in power. So any critique you have of what's going bad, doesn't that law lie in the lap of the Democratic Party, in the Senate, in the House, in the executive branch? Like, what are we talking about?
Yes, it does matter a whole lot who controls the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House. And let me tell you why. We are living in an unprecedented moment in history and in extraordinarily dangerous and unsettling times. You turn on...
Dangerous and unsettling times brought on by who, Bernie Sanders? Who is in office pushing this proxy war? Who is in office instigating nuclear war? Who? Isn't it the Democrats?
Turn on the news, and it looks like it's one crisis on top of another. It's the economy. It's climate change. It's the attack against abortion rights. It's the pandemic. It's the war in Ukraine. And perhaps most importantly, it's the growing effort by Republicans to undermine the very foundations of American democracy. In my view, as we enter the last 5 weeks of this midterm campaign, it's imperative that we not only expose Republicans for their reactionary agenda and the harm they will do to working people and the middle class, to women, to our environment, and to our democracy. That is enormously important, but it's not enough. As progressives, we have got to lay out our agenda, our vision as to where this country should go. And that is to create a government that works for all and not just the few. When we talk about what's going on in this country, let's start off by taking a look at the state of our economy. And what you'll find is that the economy is doing great. It's doing fantastic for the people on top, but not so good for the middle class, for working families, for the vast majority of our people. In case you haven't noticed, you're living in a rigged economy in which the rich and powerful are doing phenomenally well, while working people are falling further and further behind. Today, while some 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to pay the bills, the billionaire class has never, ever had it so good. Unbelievably, while tens of thousands of workers died going to their jobs during the pandemic, doing what they were asked to do, the billionaire class became $2 trillion richer during that same period. Today, while the price of healthcare is soaring, 3 people, 1, 2, 3, own more wealth than the bottom half of American society, which is 165 million people. 3 people, more wealth than 165 million people. We now have more income and wealth inequality than at any time in the history of our country. Today,
I'm going to pause it there. How is electing the Democrats going to put an end to income inequality? Did we not just witness the Senate parliamentarian get out of jail free card for $15 minimum? We're talking $15 minimum wage when it should be in the 50s. I put out a tweet the other day and I said, how would your life be different if you were making $30 an hour? And some people got mad at me saying $30 an hour is not enough. And we're trying to get half of that. Is your time, is anybody's time, a human's time worth, a time out of their life worth, an hour worth $7.25? Shit, even worth $15 an hour? 8 hours, 24 hours a day. J. Cole broke this down. 24 hours a day, 8 of that you sleep. So half your day is at work, and all you're getting for it, some $7.25, $15 an hour. The problem with everything that Bernie is saying is that the Democrats is the one overseeing this atrocity. So what do you mean? Keep the people in that's creating all the stuff you're describing. So I did something different. I let it play a little longer and then just going to take it back and kind of take each point that he made. So let's go back and then let it play for about 3 minutes and then continue the rest of it.
And perhaps most importantly, it's the growing effort.
Actually, go back a little more because this is where he begins to name it. But you notice he said the most important thing is the Republican part of this list.
And in extraordinarily dangerous and unsettling times. You turn on the news and it looks like it's one crisis on top of another. It's the economy. It's climate change. It's the attack against abortion rights.
Okay, climate change and the economy. That's Democrats. Climate change, that's Democrats and Republicans. Abortion rights, that's Democrats and Republicans. So far, Democrats is doing more of what this list have more culpability in this list so far.
It's the pandemic. It's the war in Ukraine.
The pandemic. Who did worse in the pandemic? Joe Biden undoubtedly did worse if you're talking about the body count with the vaccination. Ukraine, that's all Democrats. So that's 3 on Democrats and 2 on both of them so far.
And perhaps most importantly, it's the growing effort by Republicans to undermine the very foundations of American democracy.
What politicians who are living great lives, 1% of the 1%, as Rokana says, let me let this play again. I forgot the last point.
To undermine the very foundations of American democracy.
What they failed, they're living a different democracy than the vast majority of people. And the people who support them are living a different democracy. What democracy are we saving from the Republicans? The right to be shot by police in your house? The right to be kneeled on in public while people are videotaping you, and you have the audacity, because you know you're protected by the law, to say, fuck all these people videotaping, I'm gonna keep my knee on this nigga anyway. Is that the democracy we're saving? Largest protests, I'm not going to say what some people say in history, but largest protests since the civil rights movement over the George Floyd. What has materialized in this democracy? So let's let it play, and I'm going to go to the next point.
In my view, as we enter the last 5 weeks of this midterm campaign, it's imperative that we not only expose Republicans for their reactionary agenda.
Do Democrats have a reactionary agenda? Anybody? Do Democrats have a reactionary agenda? Let's see. I guess this is good. No, let's not go to that. Let's not go to that source. What source should we go to? Okay, so what is reactionary? 1 second, as I'm pulling it up. Okay, this is good enough, and we're running out of time. I don't want to keep looking for different things, so let me share this one. This is close enough to what telling us what a reactionary is. So let's go to this one. I'm going to come back to this video. Reactionary. Let's see if reactionary applies to Democrats. Let's read the definition here. Sorry, something in my eye. Oops. A person. Let me make sure you can see it on the screen. Sorry, I'm double checking. A person who is opposed to political or social change or new ideas. Bernie Sanders can't be serious. It's the same donors that's wanting to keep the status quo in place. So if Republicans are reactionary, so are Democrats. It's the same people controlling them. Democrats don't want to raise the minimum wage. Democrats don't want to give people health care. Democrats don't want to address climate change. A person who is opposed to political or social change or new ideas. What about BDS? That new idea. What about defund the police? That's social change. So what's different? Democrats are reactionary too. So let's go back to the Bernie video and continue. I got to get through this now. I thought I would have too much time, but maybe I won't have enough time to. So let me let more of it play and break each part down here.
There are a lot of people out there.
Pause it. I'm going to put it back in the same spot we were at. Oh, did somebody just join? Oh, there go Rom. Okay, what's up, man? What's up, man?
What's good, man? What's good?
Just giving you the right introduction. What's going on? You just
I had to jump on this because yeah, man. I was watching you for a minute. I had to drive home. I'm like, yeah, let me jump on this shit because Bernie Sanders still on that same bullshit.
Yeah. Did you see this midterm video before you saw it right here on the screen?
No, I got Bernie blocked on Twitter. So
you don't even want to see the nonsense, huh?
Man.
So you don't see none of that. All right, let's get back to the video. So Rome hasn't seen it and get his real-time reaction about Bernie the Cluck. We were at 156. Well, so you haven't seen any of it?
No.
All right, so I'm gonna let it play all the way through.
Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who don't pay much attention to midterm elections. In fact, many Americans don't even know who's running for Congress in their district or for the U.S. Senate in their state or for governor. And they're thinking, it's not a presidential election. What's the big deal? Why should I go out and vote? Why should I knock on doors or work on a campaign? Who cares? Well, if you are one of those people, and that's what you're thinking, let me be very clear. You are dead wrong.
Shut
the
the fuck up.
election in 5 weeks is the most important midterm election in the
He said it too.
Right? Yes.
He said it too. He said it.
He said it. Let me rewind it. He said it.
Be very clear. You are dead wrong. The election in 5 weeks is the most important midterm election in the modern history of this country, and to a very significant degree will determine the future of the United States.
What do you think of that, Rome? He's already rolling it out. What do you think?
How is this the most important election? How is this more important than the last election?
I think, well, he's saying this is the most, it's the same thing, but he's saying specifically this is the most important midterm election. And it's the same question that you have. How was this more important than the last midterm election?
Yeah, who is running that's going to change any of these things? A lot of these progressives are now, you know what I'm saying, in the pocket of, you know, a lot of these corrupt organizations and PACs and whatnot. So you can't even take their word for what it is. These Justice Democrats signed the PAC. And they still are doing the opposite of what the PAC said. So how can we take any of these people? Well, go ahead and let this. Just cut your hair.
It's like 9 minutes. Let's go.
United States of America, and it will have a major impact on your life and the life of your family. Yes, it does matter a whole lot who controls the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House. And let me tell you why. We are living in an unprecedented moment in history.
Blah, blah.
And so, Rome, this is what I find ironic. He's about to go into a list of all the problems the U.S. is having, but he's forgetting that the Democrats control everything.
Right.
So what is the point that he's making? You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, they can't sell on, they can't really sell on anything but Republican bad, Democrat good, because What else do they have? Y'all let Roe v. Wade just get demolished across the nation. Y'all funding the police billions of dollars in a heap of protesting. What else can you promise us? There's nothing you can promise us. There is no policy. You can't run on Medicare for all anymore because Biden already said he's going to veto it. So what are these people going to run on? What can they promise you besides we're the good guys?
We're the good guys about to start Armageddon.
Right.
In extraordinarily dangerous and unsettling times. You turn on the news and it looks like it's one crisis on top of another. It's the economy. It's climate change. It's the attack against abortion rights. It's the pandemic. It's the war in Ukraine. And perhaps most importantly, it's the growing effort by Republicans to undermine the very foundations of American democracy.
Look, hold on. First of all,
I knew you was gonna stop it. Right, I already stopped it. I knew. Go ahead.
American democracy. What democracy was we even? We're not even built on democracy. The Constitution shows you that. The Constitution shows you that this isn't really a democracy. But anyways, how can you save your government from people that's already elected? People that already have the power. If you think that fascists is scared of your votes, if you think that these corporations will let you have any control in what happens inside of their business, you out of your fucking mind. How can you save your country from fascism when it's already bred in it? It's braided inside of America's democracy. We have been living under fascism for. What are you talking about? You know what's most important? You know what's more important than voting for Democrats to make sure Republicans don't take over? Not voting at all, and just getting in tune with your community, getting connections outside of your community and growing nationally, organized with each other. You don't need these people. We don't need these people. We can literally pull in the money that we have right now, the land, the resources that we have right now are and what we know how to do, your skills, how to build, whatever. We can come together and build our own shit. We don't need these people. They're going to keep selling you this Republican bad. But y'all do nothing to really stop them. You guys, y'all do nothing to stop them. And when it's time for voting, when it's time to actually vote on bills and whatnot, and we get mad because Democrats is about to vote on something that Republicans put into play, like the infrastructure bill, and we say, hey, this isn't good enough, that isn't good enough, et cetera, et cetera. They say, look, we have to be bipartisan. Oh, so you bipartisan with a whole bunch of fucking fascists now? All this shit that you didn't call these people?
Talking out both sides of their mouths. See that? You call them a fascist and then you say, well, let's work across the aisle. Go ahead, Rome.
So is it how do that change anything? How does that work for anyone? And guess what happens when they sign those bills? We get fucked. Democrats have transferred the most wealth to the fucking wealthy ever in history. That's what they did with their fucking, when they got their chairs, when they got their power. So what they're gonna do now? This midterms is more important than the last midterm. So what are these people that's gonna win these midterms do if AOC didn't even stand true to her word? Cori Bush didn't stand true to her word. Jamal Bowman didn't stand true to her word. Ilhan Omar didn't stand true to her word. So who else can come in and just stop this? We've seen your favorite politicians go in and fold. Bernie, you're sheepgoating, man. You're sheepgoating and
sheepdogging.
Yeah, and you deserve, man. You deserve could catch a lot of hell because I ain't gonna lie, there is a pipeline from Bernie to communism, but only so many people make it through that clogged ass pipeline, and he still got a lot of people under his spell.
Because he's standing at the fork in the road, telling people to go to the wrong path, and we're just saying, nigga, move out the way. We going this way. Yeah. That's what we're saying, and he's trying to still get people to go down this path of not having a choice. Nick will be joining pretty soon, but let's try to get through some more of the video as Nick joins whenever he's ready.
In my view, as we enter the last 5 weeks of this midterm campaign, it's imperative that we not only expose Republicans for their reactionary agenda and the harm they will do to working people and the middle class, to women, to our environment, and to our democracy. That is enormously important, but it's not enough. As progressives, we have got to lay out our agenda, our vision as to where this country should go. And
like voting for Ukraine and NATO, is that the vision that progressives got? Bernie, AOC,
expanding NATO.
Is that what it is?
Expanding NATO. That's what is more important than anything. Getting like-minded Democrats in the office who's going to be war hawks, who's going to be able to become war criminals and not have a conscience for it, or and can have a stomach for murder. That's what they want. They want people in to help them keep white supremacy strong across the world. Ukraine, we all know this isn't about the people of Ukraine. We didn't see NATO. We seen what happened, what NATO have done to Libya. We seen what NATO have done to countries in Africa. We seen what America has done across the world. And you telling me that we somehow overnight grew our heart 3 times bigger than no, the Grinch is still the Grinch. The Grinch is still the Grinch. And this is what they want. They just want more murderers in office. We need more Democrats. What's wrong with the Republicans? Y'all seem to be working fine with them. Everything that they put out, y'all signed. Y'all don't even say shit.
Just fine. They act like they just they're cousins or something. But all right, let's go.
Government that works for all and not just the few. When we talk about what's going on in this country, let's start off by taking a look at the state of our economy. And what you'll find is that the economy is doing great. It's doing fantastic for the people on top, but not so good for the middle class, for working families, for the vast majority of our people.
He just don't say poor.
In case you haven't noticed,
no,
you're living
that's not who
in
he's
a
fighting
rigged
for.
economy in which the rich and powerful are doing phenomenally well, while working people are falling further and further behind. Today, while some 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck,
What's up, Nick? Get the proper introduction.
What's going on, Nick?
What's good, fam?
Yeah.
Oh no, you may want to put that fix the thing, the Cluck Sanders or the Cuck Sanders.
Oh, what did I put?
Cluck.
What is it supposed to be?
Cuck.
I don't know. I think you said
but you can use both. But I let's do that. No, because I know because people, he is a cuck too. But I know I hear what you're saying.
I know
y'all motherfuckers don't like watch corporate news or pay attention to what corporate Democrats say. Do you guys know what message that they're running on right now? Like, dead honest, a lot of Democrat senators are saying, you guys got to vote for Democrats in the midterms, because if you guys are not, Republicans are Putin sympathizers. So if Democrats do not win the Senate, we may not be able to send as much money and weapons to Ukraine.
That's the dumbest shit.
You about to make you
Republican. I tell you this because CJ don't watch nothing. You'll be quite a few tweets, and I was watching some segment in preparation of Ukraine, and this guy, I gotta find a new segment. I gotta do a whole segment on it. He was like, See, this is why we got to come out in droves. Not because of housing, not because of healthcare. We got to come out in droves because Donald Trump said he wanted to negotiate peace. We can talk about it later today.
Right, that's what we wanted. Yeah, Trump.
And then they said if you want Ukraine to get the arms and weapons that they deserve, we got to vote in droves to vote blue.
Oh my God, that is so ridiculous. That is
so
ridiculous.
For no war but a class war to shit. Fuck it. All of us gotta die. If we can't control the world, everybody gotta die. That's how these motherfuckers feel. They don't give a fuck about the people of Ukraine because they want to be poking no goddamn Russian bear. I know that. And this bald head ass middle pattern receiver, he need to do a number like Nick and cut his shit. But he about to say 60% of people is living paycheck to paycheck, and we just sent another $12 billion to Ukraine. Bitch, what can you sell me, Bernie? I'm so tired of this nigga, bro.
Let's listen.
Bernie the type of nigga that show up to a worker strike and ask everyone if they voting Democrat or not. I didn't see your coverage of this video, but I didn't watch the video, but I know exactly what video you're covering because I saw it in my subscription box. Bernie,
I waited to cover for it. I waited to cover it. I was just like, I can't believe he's doing it again. But let's listen.
The billionaire class has never, ever had it so good. Unbelievably, while tens of thousands of workers died going to their jobs during the pandemic, doing what they were asked to do, the billionaire class became $2 trillion richer.
And y'all passed the CARE Act. So how can you get mad at the billionaire class when you are literally giving them our fucking money? You are giving them our tax dollars. During the pandemic, we seen that we lost 1.4 trillion. We seen that they gained 1.4 trillion. Where did that money come from? Who did they get it from? Who gave it to them? Who like come on now. This we're not about to keep on playing this pity pat, Bernie. You literally gave them our money. Literally. The Democrats. The Republicans weren't in control when that wealth was transferred. They still aren't.
Today, while the price of healthcare is soaring, 3 people, 1, 2, 3, own more wealth than the bottom half of American society, which is 100.
Like, bro, people are tired of the same shit.
And how is electing Democrats going to fix what he's saying right there? The 3 people that own it, aren't they going to get the same tax breaks?
They're going to get richer.
They're going to get the same. Yeah, like what's the difference with the Democrats? Like, what are you saying, Bernie?
3 people, more wealth than 165 million people. We now have more income and wealth inequality than at any time in the history of our country. Today, while some 18 million American families are paying over 50% of their limited incomes on housing, and 600,000 are homeless, the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 92% of our people. Today, while Americans struggle to fill up their gas tanks to get to work, CEOs of the largest corporations in our country now make almost 400 times as much as the average worker. Did you hear that?
And who's in office while these gas prices are going up? Who's in office while inflation is happening? Who's in office while we're marching to Armageddon? Who? This is the problem, Nick, with him saying is like, you are in office. Go ahead, Nick.
You want to know the funny thing? The last like 90 seconds of this video, Bernie's been listing a ton of problems. What is your argument, Bernie? You realize that we can make our argument using the same argument that you are using. So he listing all these bad things that has been going on. These bad things are the result of you caucusing with the Democrats over the last decade. So it's like, remember, this is the argument that we dissect all the time, CJ, where people say, well, of course we got to take over the Democratic Party. I've been at this for decades. It takes time, CJ. You understand? I'm a serious activist. We put time into the strategy, and this is the result.
Right.
So Bernie is listing the results of your failed strategy. That's why I don't understand why he's listing this in a video where he wants you to vote for Democrats. That's why I'm literally confused. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's confusing.
It really is. They're failures.
Well, let's
literally.
shout out JB just arrived. What's up, JB?
What did I just walk into? Nick was on a rant. I'm like, what is going on here? And I see Bernie on the screen.
Yeah. Sheepdogging again. Bernie the cuck. Yeah.
Oh man.
How are you doing though, JB?
Yeah, not as good as Sheep Doggy Dog, Bernie Sanders. But but it's good to see you guys. I'm doing all right. I don't have tea today. I got water, but
you got everything today.
Well,
so what do you guys think? So did Bernie get an email from Democrats like, hey, get your bitch ass out there and make it for us? Or do you guys think Bernie took the initiative? What do you guys think it is? Do you guys think
is he a teacher's pet or either way he's a teacher's pet?
Like Bernie, hey, get your bitch ass online, put a video out. You see how close these Senate races are? What are you doing? Get your ass over here.
Let me tell you what I think. I think they hear and they see they're in our Twitters. They're seeing all of these conversations. They're seeing all of these streams and conversation discussions, and not just us. Like everybody's talking about how we're tired of this shit. They're hearing it. Hey, Bernie, we need to roll you out to go get all this non-establishment energy and bring them back to us. That's what he's like a boot. He's just been put out in the ocean. And they're gonna snap that shit right back once he gets enough people on this boat that he's gonna bring back to the Democratic Island.
It sounds like that they saw some of what we were saying in RBN. They were like, we got to counter that shit. We can't have them ruining our gravy train like that. So get Bernie out there to corral the people back so they can go back into the Democratic Party so we can make some money on our Act Blue. That's what it sounds like to me.
If Bernie said it's not fascism.
Yeah.
If Bernie vote for war, it's not. If Bernie fund and vote for war, it's not. He's not a war criminal. He just want to protect us.
He's just protecting the Ukraine people. But let's see if we can get through some more. It's about less than 5 minutes left. Let's see if we can get through a little bit more of this.
CEOs of the largest corporations now make almost 400 times as much as the average worker. And when we talk about inflation, which is on the minds of almost everybody, let us understand that inflation is a worldwide phenomenon, not just American.
So
in
he's
Europe,
apologizing for buying
now
here.
10%. In America,
I don't want to pause it for long, but I want you guys to realize that's what he's doing. So when he says that, that's for people to think, oh, it's not neoliberal capitalism. It's not your politicians. Come on, inflation's everywhere.
Let me ask you guys a question. Why isn't he saying what it actually is? Let me put it this way. Why doesn't he say price gouging? Why isn't he saying that? He keeps saying inflation because it's like this abstract thing. Oh man, it's inflation. No, you just said earlier, Bernie, about the corporations making all this profit. Stop calling it by a technical term. Call it by how we know. It's price gouging. That's what they're doing. They're shafting us. Call it what it is. And then on top of it, if you truly are against it, then you be against also one of the corporations that you're sheepherding for, the Democratic Party. That's right. The Democratic Party is also a corporation too.
Yeah.
Now, people, maybe not in the legal sense, but what is the Democratic Party's goal? It was never to really actually gain any true meaningful change for us. It's to get you to go to their Act Blue because you're afraid of the Republicans, so then you're going to give them $27. That's all it really is. So
how long until Bernie Sanders blame Putin for this? How long and by the way, guys, like the Western countries are facing the most inflation. Like there are countries like Belarus, India, China that is not facing the inflation that we are because they don't have incompetent leaders that throw their off the cliff in order to win proxy wars. So Bernie is lying to you guys. I know it hurts. It hurts to say, but I'm here to tell you that. But go ahead.
All right, I'll press play.
in America, while much too high, the inflation is at about 8.2%. And when we talk about inflation, here is the ugly truth. Corporate America, with their extraordinary extraordinary greed is using the pandemic, the global supply chain crisis, and the horrific war in Ukraine to charge Americans outrageously high prices, all the while they make
Bro, spit it out.
profits. This is what's going on. While the price of gas has soared, the five big oil companies made $59 billion in profits during the second quarter of this year alone, one quarter. And they're spending $88 billion on stock buybacks and dividends to exclusively benefit their wealthy shareholders. That's the oil companies. While global food prices skyrocketed by over 33% last year and are expected to go up by another 23% this year, billionaires in the global food and agribusiness industry became $382 billion richer during the
It's
pandemic.
like 3 minutes, less than 3
You're
minutes.
not
left.
While we
control.
continue to pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Three of the largest pharmaceutical companies in America,
Sabby.
Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Abbott, increased their profits.
Sabby is in the house. Let's give her the proper introduction.
Hey, Sabby.
Hey,
What's
guys.
up, Sab? How you doing?
Good.
Sabby killed at the Julian Assange rally last weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think let's set that up. If anybody can bring those videos she put in, set that up for the next segment. We're almost done with this segment, and then we can cover that Julian Assange, and then the awards, and then we can move on to this because I want to make sure we get that in while all of us are here before some of us have to trickle out. I want to get to those awards. So, Sabby, I don't know if you've seen the video. I'm sure you have because you're pretty on top of a lot of political news. Bernie Sanders is doing what he does, sheepherding for the Democratic Party with this latest video entitled Midterms. And we're just kind of dissecting it. So, all right. So let's put it back in and let's.
Things gonna get really cringe in the next few weeks, guys.
Bro, this man is literally listing off the failures of the Democratic Party of the last year or so. Okay, we can, if y'all want to, we want it back just a couple of seconds, like 30 seconds, when you start naming stuff again. Think about when the transfer of money or that wealth has happened. And remember who was in control at that time. He's literally telling you guys, he's giving you a great reason not to vote at all, for one, and an even better reason not to vote for any Democrat. But look, just pay attention to the timestamps.
And they're spending $88 billion on stock buybacks and dividends to exclusively benefit their wealthy shareholders. That's the oil companies. While global food prices skyrocketed by over 33% last year and are expected to go up by another 23% this year, billionaires in the global food and agribusiness industry became $382 billion richer during the pandemic. While we continue to pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs.
Good job, Biden.
Three of the
Thank you. Now I'm not
largest
going to
pharmaceutical
vote.
companies in America, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Abbott.
Like, is he trying to encourage people?
That's what it's so weird.
It's so funny. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, 90% last year to $54 billion. Meanwhile, the CEO of Moderna recently acquired a $926 million golden parachute after his company received $2.5 billion in taxpayer dollars from the Trump administration to develop its COVID vaccine.
See, this works way better when Trump is president.
Yeah.
This does not make sense when you're stumping for the administration, the people in power that you're supposed to be criticizing. So this stuff sounded great, 2016, 2020, because you're like, man, Bernie must really care. But now when you say this stuff while he's stumping for the people in power, that's when you realize, oh, this Bernie thing is not as dynamic as we thought it was. But sorry, go ahead, CJ. I'm savvy.
I was just going to say that just goes to show you there's no difference between the Democrats and Republicans when it comes to economics. when it comes to the class issue. Bernie's giving the same speech he gave when Trump was in office.
Right.
This literally, like Sabby said, we literally could have just played this during that time, and it sounds the same. But let's continue.
1 out of 4 Americans could not afford to pay for their prescription drugs. The CEO of Regeneron Pharmaceuticals made over $450 million in total compensation last year. We need a tax system that is based on ability to pay, that raises the funds we need to support strong social programs for working people, children, and the elderly. We need to move aggressively against the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality by creating a truly progressive tax policy. That is what we mean by a progressive agenda. What we mean is bringing people together to fight for a government that works for all of us, not one that works for the people on top.
That sounds like a broken man.
Right now, our job is
Sad. He looks sad.
You don't have to play it again, but the last 10 seconds when he said that, his trademark, he said, you can play it again if you want, but he sounded like a broken man. Like, this sounds like a guy he doesn't really believe this shit.
It's not me, it's them.
listen to it again. This is not, and maybe if I'm wrong here, you guys can push back on me if I'm wrong here, but this does not sound like the same guy. He gave those speeches. This is a guy who he lost. His defeat is over. He's bullshitting. Listen to it again and see if you guys agree with me or not.
Yeah.
By a progressive agenda. What we mean is bringing people together to fight for a government that works for all of us, not one that works for the people on top.
Yeah, sounds deflated.
Look, he did not believe that shit anymore. You can tell.
To make sure that we expand the slim Democratic majority in the House.
So here's the part. Let's make sure we zero in. Now, this like Nick said, the last minute and 10 seconds is where he really is going to zero in on, hey, get out to vote for Democrats. So let me just rewind a few seconds. Go ahead.
But before you do that, here's my question. And Bernie talks about increasing the taxes on the wealthy. Maybe I'm wrong, and correct me on this. Anybody in the chat, anybody that's watching in the comments later on the rewatch. But when has Bernie ever called for actually slashing the military budget?
Never.
He proposed a 10% military budget.
10% Pentagon.
But they knew it wasn't going to pass.
Well, because here's my question. Because if you're so concerned with funding these social programs, right? And yes, you want to tax the rich. Okay, fine. Go ahead. That's good. Do that. But why not go a different route and defund the military, defund the Department of Defense? Do different ways you can do it in the Senate. You know what I mean? It just sounds like, oh, we just got to put taxes on the wealthy. And it's like, well, okay, but there are other ways to fund different parts of, these social programs that you want to, do.
That's a great point, Jimmy.
He proposed a 10% military budget decrease, but he voted for all the Ukraine proxy war funds. What's the fuck? So right now, the United States and NATO is fighting Russia. So what you did is that showed that Bernie really did that just for PR. He didn't really fucking believe that shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's go to the video.
To rally the American people, to make sure that we expand the slim Democratic majority in the House, and elect at least 2 more Democrats in the Senate who are prepared to take on the greed of the billionaire class and create a government that works for all of us and not just the 1%. If we stand united, if we do not allow Republicans to divide us up by the color of our skin, our sexual orientation, or our immigration status, if we stand together and take on the big money interest and the unprecedented level of corporate greed in America today, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. Our job now is to knock on doors, make phone calls, talk to our neighbors, our friends, and our colleagues to get out
and get them to vote blue.
Progressives and Democrats up and down the ballot. This is something we can do.
Oh my God.
We must do. The future of our country is at stake.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The future of the country is at
God
stake.
damn,
according to
man.
Bernie
Yo.
It's
Sanders,
the most
so-
important election of our lifetime again.
Yo. Here's my question. If it didn't work in 2008, when we literally had a supermajority in the Senate and we had a majority in the House and the presidency all at the same time, why in the hell would you think it's going to happen this time when we have even further steeped into fascism in this country? You can't vote it out, man. You can't. And that's the thing. It's like, dude, your parents were literally involved. Your family was literally involved in the Holocaust. And you know that you can't vote off. What did we do to get fascism out? We literally had to send a military over to get fascism out. What the fuck do you think is going to happen in this country? Like, holy shit. Like, come on, bro. Are you that dejected from reality? Like, Bernie is a shell of a man than what he was. Like, holy shit.
I'll just say, who are these progressives that are supposed to get those 2 seats in the House to fight back against corporate greed and interest? Because most of the progressives that ran in 2022 lost their primary races. So who is he talking about?
John Fetterman?
Yep.
He's a senator.
That's Senate seat.
He's a senator. Yeah, he's a senator. Yeah.
So
All right, I'm going to head out.
And they said, I can't take this shit. That's how I feel. Because, man, sleep, shit.
They keep telling progressive, and that's such an important point, Savvy, because they keep telling progressive, we just got to try harder and pour more money into this dead in the electoral process. Bro, the progressives got wiped the fuck out.
Big time.
Look at what happened to Nina
Big
Turner.
time.
Why do you think they had to rely on John fucking Fetterman? Okay, I pull a shotgun out on a black dude and I'm a fucking Zionist. and I'm a Zelensky simp. They had to rely on him because everyone else lost. You guys want to know why? I explained this concept multiple times. The Bernie campaign, we can debate why this happened. I actually kind of torn because I think there's a part where the liberal establishment actually believed their own bullshit, where they were saying, "Oh, you can't run as a progressive and win," and then they said it so many times they really started to believe it. So when Bernie first ran, when AOC shot Joe Crowley, when we got Ilhan Omar, Rashid Tlaib, that's because the establishment was unprepared. They literally believed that if you run on Medicare for All, you can't win, and they were caught slipping. So Bernie happened the first time, and you saw the second time they had a militant plan on how to beat him. Ever since the squad was elected in 2018, they have been taking these races seriously. In 2018, gave the elected progressives way too much confidence. They're like, "Oh, we can do this." No, the point was like, "Motherfucker, we was barely paying attention to y'all." Now, what happens? What they do is the same strategy over and over again, and the progressives have no answer to it. So what they do, they just be chilling with them 5 weeks before the election. Yeah, we just running a nice little clean race here. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Then the last week, they poured dark money ads, super PAC money in the race, ton of ads. Everyone endorsed the corporate Democrat. That happened every race, and they keep losing because they don't know how to adjust. That happened to Bernie last election in Super Tuesday. Then they did that to Nina Turner. That's when Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and all the corporate Democrats came out and endorsed Chantel Brown the week of, and then they poured the ads in the last second. And then the Nina camp and the Bernie camp saying, "Oh, geez, guys, it's not our fault. If only we had a way to stop the dark money from coming in." It's almost like you are literally engaging in a failed strategy. But Savvy, I'll pass it to you guys, the panel, because you guys see, they will admit that this strategy is not working, but then it would propose keep doing it again.
They did the same thing to Jessica Cisneros, and she ran 2 times in a row as a Justice Democrat. They did the same thing to her. They poured all the money in last week, and Nancy Pelosi and Jim Clyburn endorsed Henry Cuellar instead of Jessica Cisneros. And he's still against abortion, and they endorsed him over Jessica Cisneros because, again, she's the progressive that's supposed to be running. I don't know if she'll run again after these 2 cycles in a row, but they're playing the same game. They're playing the same hand. and the progressives are losing repeatedly to the same hand. It's like playing a game of poker, and the person you're playing against, they play the same damn hand, and you haven't figured out how to beat them.
And Savvy, the hand is like a pair of twos. It's like it's not even like a good hand.
Remember, I said that on Jimmy's show, bro. And the entire Bernie movement was pissed. Because remember, I went on Jimmy Dore show and I told them the reason why they lost. Everyone was coming up with excuses like, "Nah, bro, I don't want to hear that shit. Y'all already knew what it was gonna do. Y'all wasn't prepared. You guys are not good at this. You guys cannot win anymore." The establishment adjusted after 2018 and 2016. Bernie got less votes than last time. He got crushed in Super Tuesday. The establishment adjusted. Progressives are following the same playbook.
Mm-hmm. And actually, let me ask another question. Why is there anybody who runs as a progressive, if they get beaten in the primaries by a corporate Democrat, why do they ever say, you know what? I'm leaving the Democratic Party. I'm going independent. I'm still running. Why don't they do that?
The only person I think who did that was India Walton.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's the only one.
But she's the exception rather than the rule.
Right. We need to have more people do that. But JB, to your earlier point, you said we can't vote out fascism. I don't know what you're talking about because here is the how to vote out fascism video right here.
PJ set me up.
So let's watch.
The TYT
Williams
period change.
Yes, let's listen. See, JB, that's all we have to do, JB, and then
okay.
done.
The social democrat period change.
I think that's the end of the segment. Unless anybody wanted to add anything about Bernie Sanders. Can somebody bring up the?
Yeah, I can start the next tab if you want, CJ.
Let's do the rally and the awards since everybody's here.
Our RBN sister Sabby was at the Julian Assange rally. Our RBN friend, our honorary member, Comrade Misty Winston, did a great job organizing this. It was a great event. Here's the. I'll play maybe 2 minutes of it. I don't know how much we want to play, but this is Sabby giving her speech at the Julian Assange rally. Let me mute my mic, and then I'll play a little bit of it, and then I'm gonna ask you, Sabby, like how this whole thing got set up and your experience after we watch a little bit of this. Hold on. Let me my mic is messed up. There we go.
First and foremost, big shout out to Misty for putting this together. All the Assange activists as well. It's not every day I get to be in DC, but so excited to see all you guys. When I studied journalism in undergrad, my professors told me that journalism was about reporting the facts. What they did not tell me was that there are certain agencies that do not want some facts or truths reported. Sometimes that decision lies in the hands of an editor, a publisher, a platform, or the United States government. Julian Assange is currently imprisoned for reporting the facts, for revealing harsh truths about US war crimes. He's being tortured for doing his job. Some government officials, like John Bolton, have called Julian a criminal. I disagree. Journalism should not be a crime. But I would ask John Bolton, where is that same outrage
for the real criminals? Where is that same outrage for the clients of Jeffrey Epstein? Where is that same outrage for the Wall Street bankers that stole people's homes during the housing crisis? Those are the real criminals, and they walk among us freely.
Both of these, man,
I think that was a good stopping point. But
he got to
sadly,
be one of the first ones to go. That was fire though.
yeah. if you want to add about your experience about the event, the turnout, the energy, I've seen there's a lot of videos that I showed a few on Twitter on our show yesterday. But how was the experience? That was a great speech, and make sure you got to check out the rest of it. I'll just play a little bit there, but
oh man. It was, I have to give a shout out to all the activist groups that put this together, because Medea Benjamin, she was there. For those who don't know, she's a co-founder of Code Pink. And Medea Benjamin said that usually at those Assange rallies in DC, they maybe get like 20 people. There were probably about 200 people. So it was a big turnout. She said they never had a turnout that big. And so I think Misty and everyone else really heavily promoted this. I also shout out to the people that brought Misty on to promote this event. I know she was on Jimmy's show. He heavily promoted it. So I think that was a big factor to get people out. It was so many people. There's so many speakers there. I don't know. I was just in awe of all the people, all the speakers. So I was like,
I think that's a result. Excuse me. But I think that's the result of independent media, to be honest, because you know all these people that spread the awareness on Julian Assange like never before. Like I said, before 40, 50 people probably will show up, and I still remember those. And now because you have all these independent media, including Jimmy, who had Misty on to promote that we had her on. I've seen pretty much all our friends have Misty on. Pretty much everyone in independent media was at least the good ones, the real left was helping promote this rally.
Yeah, it was so Chris Hedges was there, Jill Stein was there. Chris Hedges did his speech last, which thank you, because I don't know how anybody could have followed up after him.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
Good. Reverend Annie was there. She's a former Black Panther. She was incredible. Dan Cohen was there. So a lot of actually some of the people that have been on RBN, John Kariakou was there, Matthew Ho was there. It was so many speakers. And then on top of that, follow Ford Fisher on Twitter, you guys, if you're not following him, because he got everything. And his quality is his quality of his video is better than mine, because he had an actual camera. I used my phone. We had multiple phones we were using in the stream. But he documented a lot of this. Multiple people streamed it too. Franco was there from Frank Analysis, so he streamed. Colin streamed for Indie News Network. There were multiple people streaming. But I gotta tell you, when we grabbed that yellow ribbon and walked around the Department of Justice, that's how you see just how many people were there. Because it was, first of all, that's a huge building. It was kind of funny because a tour bus went by at one point, and they were at the stoplight, and they just all looked over and you see all these people chanting free Julian Assange. So it's they couldn't miss it, right? But it was cool because the police, they blocked off a lane for us to be able to walk down. I was just really, really, really proud, all the people that could make it. And shout out to all the RBN community, because I got to tell you guys, we have such a sweet and an awesome community. I never thought I'd see that many of them, because they were all Sabby, we love you guys at RBN. They really, I had no idea the effect that we have on people, but you guys don't know just how happy they were to see at least one person from RBN present, considering the speakers that were there. But they did all kind of stuff. They just wanted us to know that they love everything that we're doing and that they appreciate it. I didn't get a chance to talk to everybody that was there, because there were a lot of people. It's funny. I tried to go talk to one person, and then other people would come up and say, I love you guys at RBN and stuff like that. Garland Nixon was also there. But it was a great event. And all I have to say is you see who wasn't there. CNN and MSNBC, they weren't there. Fox News was there.
Wow. What Majority Report, TYT, that wasn't there, Savvy?
Didn't cover it, didn't promote the event, didn't.
I thought
mainly the
TYT would have
people-
owned the progressives. What?
Mainly the people that you would think of did not even promote this event or even have Misty on because of the relationship. There's a lot of gatekeeping. So it's kind of like, oh, no, we don't associate with that person. So not even bringing her on to promote the event. And just imagine if this was promoted on TYT or Majority Report or Breaking Points, we would have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. But London got the word out very, very officially. They had over 5,000 people at the Parliament at London. But yeah, a lot of the big name people in independent media did not promote it at all. Because of who's associated with it. And that's really sad. And this is why the left is not winning and is not going anywhere. Sometimes you got to put those things aside. But
it's not only that, Sabi. You know that these people, they playing a safe role, so they feel like they won't be Assange once shit start really going down. Like, we speak up, and the people that came out speak up for him because we know how powerful freedom of press is, and how powerful the government can come down on you if we just let them just take over and just run over the press like they have been doing for decades now. And we have to stand up or and make an example for Assange, or they're gonna make an example from him, all of us.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that was there. That was dope. I did see that as soon as I got in. I saw Nick was out with the KC tenants. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to watch all the Julian Assange live streams, but I was out. And to Savvy's point, it was wild because I honestly stayed grounded because I'm like just an ordinary guy. Like, Twitter is not real life for the most part. But when I went to the KC tenant event, there was like, just like Savvy said, there was like 5 to 6 people that came up to me like, yo, I watch RBN. It's crazy to see. I'm glad to see you here. And I was like, well, it's wild to actually meet people that say that your work impacts them. And this one guy was like, yo, I'm sorry, man, I ain't watched in like a few weeks, man, I'm busy at work. I'm like, bro, you don't I'm not here to
go to work.
Not watching everything. It was wild because I talked to Brandon. He's like a local leader there. We were talking about housing for like 40 minutes because I'm trying to get them on the activist summit. He seemed super interested because I was like, bro, we can help you fundraise, we can get the message out, because they were doing crazy good stuff down there.
The People's Council.
Yeah, go ahead, CJ.
No, I was gonna say the People's Council. I feel like when I hear all of us talk, it's like as a group in all of our cities or near the city that we all are. You're like Sabby and Nick. You're connected to. The one that I'm gonna reach out and is the People's City Council. What they're doing and getting these people to resign in the city council, that's them that's doing all that marching and protesting that you see in the video. So I'm gonna get with them. Just interjecting that into this point that this thing that we're doing, we're trying, as we go, we're coming up with we're trying to do as we're living it. And we want to be in this space, but something we told Black Power Media, we want to be great at this space, but we also want to be great in the community space.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of organizations that are good at one of the two. Like, they're either good in the community, they're not that good in their social media, or they're great in social media, they're not good in the community. We want to do both. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, sorry, CJ. But to that point, I was literally talking to the KC tenants guy. I was like, they were like, we gotta set this go. We want to raise $5,000 for our KC takeover event. And I'm like, bro, we just raised that for JB. So I was like telling him, like, bro, this we gotta make sure we organize in real life, build our real community like you guys are doing. But I feel like a lot of you guys are underestimating like the power of the media. And I was telling them, like, I just want to help, and I was pretty much just hyping them up. We had a great conversation. I'm gonna definitely talk to them in the future. And I was like, if we get you on activist summit, we can help you guys fundraise, get the message out, sign people up, because they trying to sign thousands of people up to their tenant union. They about to build the largest tenant union in the nation's history. Like, you guys understand? And the funny thing, back to the point on the media coverage, you want to know how many people was there covering this KC10 takeover event? I was the only one. local KC media there, no CNN there, no independent media. I was literally the only one there, and I had to do super psych. I was like, yo, I want to help you guys spread the message. We need to coordinate what you guys do in real life, help boost yourself by spreading it to online. A lot of people don't see this shit because the media blackout. So I'm covering this shit ongoing. I posted videos a few days ago, but watch, bro. What KC Tennis is doing is exactly what we've been advocating for. They are building an army. They're like, yo, we about to make endorsements. If you guys do not have a pro-housing agenda, we will endorse against you. We don't give a fuck about any red, blue shit, period. It's crazy, but
yeah. Some people traveled from all over. There was a girl I interviewed. She traveled. She was at Standing Rock. She came all the way from North Dakota. Like, there are people who really care. Like, like she's not wealthy, but she was like, look, I was going to make this trip for this event because it's important. And I will tell people, I talked to Rome about this too. I'm trying eventually, hopefully, we will have better equipment so we don't have to use our phones to stream when we're out on the ground, because the streaming platforms don't work as well. The quality isn't as good on your phone as it is on the computer. But like, there were people there, like I said, like Ford Fisher had like a camera, so eventually, we'd want to raise money so that we could get that kind of stuff to get more on the ground reporting, better mics and stuff like that. Because if it hadn't been for Eric there helping me, because Eric's my producer, and then also my husband was with me too, there's no way I could have done this by myself, because you have to have somebody. You need to have another phone in the stream so somebody can get the crowd and somebody can get the speakers. And then there's a chance if one of the streams goes out, at least you still got that other one in there.
Right.
So it's,
that's why
we need help. Yeah.
That's why I had to post videos of my coverage of that's why I post videos of the rally afterwards. I would love to do like interviews there, and people at these rallies, like it's an insanely positive community event. And that's why I told you guys to get involved, because once you get involved, you get hooked. This is great. Like, everyone high-fiving each other. We all loving on each other. So I go to people. I'm like, hey, y'all, I'm Nick from Revolutionary Blackout. I talked to this dude from K10. I was like, yo, I want to talk to you about housing. He was like, yeah, I'm more than happy. So imagine if I was there, I could be interviewing these people. I don't have to equipment. I have my phone. So one of these days we get there.
One thing I do want to point out.
I can pay back.
I'm sorry. One thing I wanted to point out was, and Sabby, you just made a point about someone traveling all the way, to Washington, D.C. for the event. There are some people who are in the independent media space who live in Washington, D.C., and they didn't even show up. And they're supposed to be in this space. And they are way more affluent than the rest of us. I'm not saying names, but like, if you truly care about press freedom, if you truly care about free speech, and some of them are saying, I'm a free speech absolutist, where the fuck were you?
Brunch.
I didn't really have the resources like that. Like, we drove down to DC. Yeah. I mean, but I was like, I'm going to use what I have.
Yeah. But some of them are literally in DC, or some of them can get to DC like that so easily. Yep. And yet you don't see them at all. And yet, for some reason, they call themselves, free speech absolutists, but they don't have anything to say about, hell, they don't say anything about Julian Assange, but I don't hear him say anything about Mumia Abu-Jamal. So It's like, what? Come on. We're
the only channel that covered the Pilkington too. The black prisoners. The only ones. No one care about that shit. We just gonna advocate for Medicare for all. We're gonna be all right.
I will say Chuck Modi was there. And it was
Chuck was there.
Chuck Modi is he's so lively and animated in person, just like he is on camera. Like Chuck it was awesome to meet him. Colin, I saw Colin, and I finally got to meet Afeni in person. Like, it was nice to see everybody's faces.
See, that's why I'm jealous, man. I live in the fucking middle of nowhere. and I get crazy motherfuckers like Rome who's willing to come down there and meet me.
Nick isn't loud, man, because I had to Google. We literally had to Google where is the black people in this state. That's like one of the top searches in Google for Kansas. Where's the black people?
What?
Bro,
let's slightly move it or add this in because I believe this looks like you were at the event and then when they presented you with the award. So Sabby, let's talk about the award you got for yourself, and then we'll talk about more of the group award that we got. So can you tell us about this award?
Yes. So the women in the picture, they're from the Women Institute for Free Press. And I didn't know this was going to happen. So I was really surprised. But I got an email the night before when I was in DC that I had won an award from them, from this organization. They were going to present the award October. It's the week of our activist summit. They wanted to see if I could come down then. But we had the activist summit, and then also I don't think I can afford to go like back there again this month. But so they said they were going to be at the Assange rally. So they came to the rally and they went ahead and presented me with the award. And I was just so, you guys got to know, like, these are true fighters. The woman on the right in the gray jacket, Julie, she was involved with fighting for Venezuela. So like Margaret Kimberly knows about her. Margaret was the one that told me about Julie. They're really involved in activism. It was really sweet. And they're supposed to be doing an in-person ceremony that Sunday, October 23rd. And I think they said, I think Katie Halper is going to come to that. And someone's coming all the way from Europe, I think. And I'll just do like a Zoom thing with them instead at 5:00. But I was not expecting that at all. So I got an award for 2022 Women in Media Award.
Nice.
Can you say what's the name of the organization again? Can you just shout it out one more time? The name of their organization?
Women Institute for Press Freedom.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Those that want to kind of Google it and check it out.
Yeah, they're based in DC. They have like a house for their organization in DC.
Congratulations, Tabby.
Congratulations, because I know I never won an award.
So let's bring up the other. I have another graphic here, and then I'll let you also explain this second award. Or you can, I guess you can begin. So what is the award that we as RBN as a group won? What is that award? I'm going to bring up the graphic as you're talking about it. Sabby?
Yeah, so Indy Left from Indy Left News and Independent News Network, he noticed something about independent media. There was no type of awards that we do for people in this space, right? So he came up with a list of the people that have been featured multiple times in the Indy Substack, the newsletter that he puts out. And he created different categories. So they had one for writers, they had one for streamers. I think they had one for best outlet. So like the Gray Zone was featured in that one, along with, I think, Consortium News, like those types of outlets. Writers included people like Vanessa Beeley, Eva Bartlett. I think I forget. It was a long list of people, but RBN won the top streamer award. And I was like, holy crap. Like Indy was like, you guys just won this award. Congratulations. So he has a stream on Indie News Network where he went through all the nominees and he talked about it. So that stream happened Friday night, I believe. Yeah, Friday evening. So you guys can watch that stream and see all the people that were nominated. But yeah, that was really sweet.
Because I'm like, when I looked at this award, I'm like, did somebody pay this nigga to give us an award or something? Because it's a lot of competition out here. It's a lot of
and now specifically, what was the one you also won? One like individual, because this is group streamer, and then you won an additional one. Can you tell everybody about that one?
Yeah, that one was for individual streamer. So yeah, I mean, just to let you guys know, like there are people out there that are recognizing like the work that we do. I mean, we're on the ground, we're also activists, and we do like the podcast here. So we do a lot like on this network. And I think it says a lot. And I know Misty won the activist award from Indy. Yeah.
And we're only a year old too. We only started last April, guys. We're just getting started. That's the exciting part. We don't even got on the ground equipment yet. So just
yeah,
we're gonna be dangerous once we get some damn cameras and some microphones, Wi-Fi box. I'm gonna grab a cigarette.
Yeah, because these protests that are going on, it's a lot of protests that go into LA, just like kind of like DC. There's a lot of protests always going on in LA. I just don't have the equipment and the people to really cover it. Sometimes I have the time to do it. I just don't have the equipment or like I said, all the other items to go out there and really cover this. So
Yeah, yes, indeed. And then I think that, I mean, things, for people listening and wondering about doing this yourself, use what you have. Start with what you have, like, because this stuff does get expensive. So we add things little by little, like along the way. But if you have a phone, just pull out your phone.
My setup is ghetto as hell. When I first started, I used to stream on on my tablet. My video used to be so poorly produced. JB Ron probably remember those days, bro. My shit was ghetto as hell. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna talk my shit. I'm gonna look ghetto while I do it. I don't give a fuck. No one's gonna stop me. Yeah, my internet might go out in the middle of a stream. You're gonna get fired before it happens, though.
Yo,
that was back when I had my computer didn't even have a fucking didn't even have a camera. I had to hook up a camera to it, and it didn't take that. The thing was just old as hell, man. It was so old. It was an old ass Dell laptop. I think like a 19 something. That motherfucker was old.
Yeah, I was able to get my. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go. I was just gonna close the segment. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that how I was able to get my laptop was because of the stimulus package, the incomplete stimulus package that Joe Biden gave us. I was able to get my laptop because of that. And so because of that, I was like, oh, let me get a laptop then.
I ain't getting no money from him.
And that's why you're able to stream, so you wouldn't be able to see JB's face.
So don't see my computer, bro. Y'all don't see the fucking ghetto.
Man, oh my god. Oh man, somebody please donate Nick a fucking laptop.
You got a mic, right? Did you receive that mic yet, or the person received that mic?
Someone, I'm gonna give shout out when I get it, so I get proper shout out. But someone did come through with a mic for me too, so that's dope. That's dope. but my computer like halfway hanging. But
it's hanging on by a thread, like literally, like it's hanging on by. I was like, nigga, I thought your computer looked better than mine. What the hell is that?
Nah, y'all just see the stream. Y'all don't see what I'm working with.
Man, but he worked hard on that motherfucker. He make it work. So I ain't mad at him.
A lot of people didn't know this. When I first started, I was using my work laptop and I didn't have an external mic. So like when I interviewed Rome, I was just like yelling I was like talking loud into the webcam. I was like, he probably like, this girl ain't got no mic or nothing. What the fuck?
No, that's why it's wild to see Savvy crazy good activist, because I remember being on Savvy's show like early on before anyone knew who he was. Now Savvy out there and Julian Assange rallies winning the wars is wild. It's wild to see. It's wild to see for sure.
Yes. I think we can move to the next segment, but first let's like the video.
Hold on, because I'm on my Aaron Monte shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm an award-winning journalist. You heard? You heard? You know what I'm saying? Let me stretch my wings for a bit.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely, whenever Savvy come on, I'm like award-winning journalist.
Now we can say that. Now we can say that. Let's like the video. 366 likes. Can we push to 400? Let's get us to 400. Let's bring some more people in. We got a lot more story. Yeah, we got a lot more stories to cover. And I wanted to kind of make sure I get it. Everybody was here for this story because I wanted to get your take on it. But there's an LA City Council person who said a bunch of shit, like just leaked video that came out. Leaked audio that came out, and she's saying like multiple things, like crazy shit. And like I was saying, people are protesting her. So I wanted to cover the story with everybody here, so you can see the power of what you can actually do when you organize, and what these people at the People's City Council, which is it's a grassroots organization in Los Angeles is helping do to get rid of these people on the city council. So first, just going to show you a couple of clips that tells us about the story, Each one has a little bit different information, so I'll show you about 2 of them. But let's listen. Oops, let me do that.
The Los Angeles City Council has resigned that position, the presidency, following the release of a secretly recorded conversation during which she used a vile racist slur to refer to the child of a fellow council member. This happened in a conversation about redistricting and the possible impact on communities of color. CNN's Nick Watt reports on the growing fallout from these remarks as calls intensify for her to step down from the council altogether.
Mike Bonin is an LA City Council member and father to a young black son. Last year, they went to an MLK Day parade. City Council President Nuri Martinez had some issues.
It's like black and brown on this float. And then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. The kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito.
Translation, little monkey.
They're raising him like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
Bonin tweeted that Martinez attacked our son with horrific racist slurs and talked about her desire to physically harm him. It's vile, abhorrent, and utterly disgraceful. There were protests at her house. Today, she resigned as council president. She issued this apology. In a moment of intense frustration and anger, I let the situation get the best of me, and I hold myself accountable for these comments. For that, I am sorry. Recorded nearly a year ago, the audio was posted anonymously on Reddit, first reported by the Los Angeles Times. Those present were, reports the paper, all Democrats, all Hispanic. Among them, Labor leader Ron Herrera. He's tweeted, there is no justification and no excuse for the vile remarks made in that room, period. And I didn't step up to stop them. He did not. And when Martinez described Bonin's son as an accessory, according to the paper, he joined in.
It's an accessory. When we do the MLK parade.
Just like when
they used to have those statues in plantations.
And then when Nuri brings her Goyard bag or the Louis Vuitton bag,
that last voice, council member Kevin De Leon. He's got big ambitions. Ran for mayor this year and a U.S. Senate seat in 2018. I regret appearing to condone and even contribute to certain insensitive comments, he wrote. I fell short of the expectations we set for our leaders.
Yeah, damn it.
I think that's the end of the, or is it? Let me actually, no, there's more. So 3 seconds on that second here. I'm prepping the next video too, but there's more.
Yeah, this
there's
audio
more.
Tells us a couple of things. The first is the kind of language that some politicians are happy to use when they think nobody is listening, and also it tells us about the deep divisions amongst the left of center leaders here in Los Angeles. Now, Nuri Martinez is the child of Mexican immigrants, but she says this about immigrants from the Mexican state of Oaxaca. She calls them short, little, dark people. And she says of the Cuban American district attorney here in LA, she says, F that guy. He's with the blacks. John?
All right, Nick Watt in Los Angeles. Nick, thank you so much for that. Want to discuss now, John Avlon, CNN senior political analyst. Racist enough to resign the presidency, but not racist enough to give up your whole council seat? Explain.
We don't need to listen to these corporate hacks talk about
I don't want to hear any of you motherfuckers.
Yeah, we don't need to. We can give our own commentary, so I'll just stop it there. But go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
I'll pass to you, Ron. I think you want to chime in, but this is why I want you guys to know that it's not only white people that are agents of white supremacy. Like, there's a lot of people that don't speak about the strong anti-blackness that we see in Central America, South America, by a lot of Latinos as well. And it's great that we have a lot of allies, but there's people that always say crazy stuff like, oh, how can they be racist? They're Latino, they're black. If you're black, if you're Latino, you can be an agent of white supremacy too. Yeah. You can enable that. And the people who are sympathetic to those ideas have the angry reaction that this lady have. These are the people who call people with darker complexion monkeys, right? And even within their own community, there's a lot of colorism where darker Latinos are judged more harshly than more light skinned. The same for Cubans too. Yeah. So this is something. The anti-blackness runs deep. But I'll get Rome. I'll get some other people in here But I just want to start with that because there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to that. But
I just wanted to say that she still have the audacity. She didn't even really resign. She resigned in present, so she still would be getting paid. So yeah.
She resigned. She resigned the presidency. So in this city council, you're the president. Say again.
She resigned in present, so she didn't really step down. She just
she didn't resign the position of being an elected officer. She resigned being the president of the city council, like it's the elected leader of the city council. I do have another video, but anyone else, JB Savvy, wanted to chime in here, or did you want to see the next video before?
I was just gonna say, this is why that phrase "people of color," a lot of times people want to use that phrase, well, people of color experience this. Right. There is division among people of color. We don't have the same experiences. And I've noticed this, especially like when I was working in higher ed, I've noticed this as well. When people use this phrase, people of color, oftentimes the people of color who are not Black don't consider themselves to be along with the Black people that are included in that group. And you'll notice this too, when there's certain issues about police brutality. Where are the other people of color? And I'm talking to all of you guys listening today. Where are the other people of color when Black people are killed by unarmed police? You see what I mean? Yeah. Like a lot of times those other people of color are accepted in white communities when Black people are not.
They protested for anti-Asian hate crime, anti-Asian hate, but they nowhere to be found when our community is killed. We see you guys.
Because the media pumped that anti-Asian hate against Blacks. They were saying they were trying to start some type of civil war between the Blacks and the Asians in America, trying to make it look like we have the problems that we have amongst ourselves and our community is bigger than what it really is. Yes, we do have racism, colorism, and a lot of hate in our communities, but a lot of this can be solved with the eradication of capitalism.
Yeah, let me add this too before you get in the video, if you don't mind, because there's nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was going to take it out. I was going to take it out.
There's nothing sadder. I'll be quick, and we watched a lot of video. Then when you watch minority communities fighting each other, you have the capitalists, the ruling class. Whenever they see Latinos repeat the very common anti-Black tropes they repeat, they're like, "Got them." Why do you guys think I and RBN show critical solidarity? I talk about immigration issues, talk about Palestinian issues, obviously mix that in with a ton of Black issues. The most counter-revolutionary shit you can do, which all our communities fall for this. I see Black people fall for this. When I see Black people be racist to Asian people and Latinos, I'm like, cut that shit the fuck out. Why are you dividing us? We need to unite to take out white supremacy and the capitalists. So there's nothing more sad when you see Latinos repeat anti-Black ideology. And I'll flip it around too. Nothing worse when you see Black people be racist to other minority communities as well. Yeah. Anything, because we should be uniting to take out the big elephant in the room, the people who colonize all of us. Why the fuck are we fighting amongst each other? That's something that throughout my entire life I never understood. And I'm lucky because where I live in Kansas City, there's a large Latino and Black population, and we all tend to get along here. It wasn't until I looked outside of that, because once again, people who are not racist tend to be people who hang out with people who look different from each other. So people who are racist against Black people, they don't hang around Black people. So as far as what I see, the community that we have, a lot of Black and Latino people here in South Kansas City, we get along great. Then I looked outside of that, I was horrified, and it drives me crazy that people fall for this. So sorry for that rant. We can get back to the video if you want.
Oh no, that's
I wanted to ride on your coattail, and it'd be so funny because a lot of these families from different communities, whether you're white, Black, or whatever, they have these talks about how much they hate the government, who the man is, depending on your nationality, your class, et cetera, et cetera. They all have that talk about, the man, or, deep state, whatever. But then they get out and just help enable everything that they hate, about the government. They help empower these people and help separation, segregation, and all kind of shit, and racism. So it's just hypocrisy all over. Even especially from the black communities, man, because we didn't have so many OGs out here telling us, you know what I'm saying, it's the man, it's the man, it's the man, but they'll sit here and sell crack to your fucking auntie.
Yep.
So yeah.
That's fact.
Just one thing.
Go ahead, JB.
Just one thing to add, you know, and the question was asked of why do some of them have this anti-black sentiment? I think, and I referenced the comedian Hassan Minaj. I actually had the video queued up, but he actually talked about how people of color that are not black need to stand with black people. And it was a very good speech that he made. But one of the things he talked about was that there is this model minority issue where if you are not black, you're considered the model minority, and then you get treated just a little bit better than the black people. And it's especially with people who are Asian. So it's anybody who's from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, people from China, Korea, Japan, you know, so they are considered to be the model minority. They're still oppressed, but they're not as oppressed as the rest of us are. And so they can have just a little bit more than us. This is why, and I hate to put it out there, but when you go to a black neighborhood, and I know all y'all can attest to this, who owns the hair store?
Yep.
Who owns the nail shop? So the thing is that they're still oppressed, but they're not as oppressed as we are. They're just slightly above us on the totem pole. And so the thing is that in order for all of us to truly have liberation, we all need to join hands and go to the oppressed and say no. Because just like being a bunch of kids in a household where your parents are abusive, one child is being treated a little bit better, but the other kids are being treated worse. It's like, do you fight against each other? Or do you go up against the powers that be and then get rid of all the oppression so that everybody can rise together?
Right, because they divide us with class, they divide us with these classes, with these labels and whatnot. And when people see us, they see us as, you know what I'm saying, customers or, you know what I'm saying, money. They don't see us as human. You know what I'm saying? So when we out here fighting, they don't even give a fuck because they don't even see us as human, for one, you know. But
I still remember. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, and a lot of people gonna be like, you know, a lot of people, they don't live in reality. They're gonna be like, oh, this isn't true, and you know, everybody's treated a little like, dude, if this wasn't true, black people wouldn't been bleaching their skin since we have gotten here. And skin bleaching has been horrible, especially in fucking Africa, Jamaica. You know, we know the lighter skin is treated fairer. Might not be, you know what I'm saying, treated like the white man, but way better than what a dark nigga. Like, come on now. We know how this shit work. You know what I'm saying? We got to work through these systems. We know when we talk on the phone, hello, yes, my name is Ron. Yes, I was calling about the interview. Right. We all got to play that white game. You got to play those white roles in order to make it.
Absolutely. I just wanted to show some more protests on the same topic here. Let me see this one. Let's go to this one. It's a better video. Because I really want to get, because I want to, the next video after this is actually showing the people, the group that's doing this protesting, the People's City Council. They posted some new video this morning showing they're not going to allow any more meetings, city council meetings, until they resign. So they're literally in the city council yelling to where they can't even conduct the meeting. So I want to get to that video, but let's listen to a little more of the story.
The shock and the outrage is reverberating throughout LA. Local faith leaders and civil rights activists are demanding those 3 city council members leave office.
That's right. People in the black and brown communities coming together to try and bridge any division after the leaked audio recordings. This afternoon, KCAM 9's Jasmine Veal is live outside City Hall in downtown LA with a strong reaction. Jasmine?
Juan and Susie, this group today was chanting, "Get them out," and a lot of them plan to be right back out here in front of City Hall tomorrow morning before that city council meeting, calling for their resignation as they say these racist remarks won't be tolerated.
Get them out!
Inside the South Side Bethel Baptist Church in South LA Monday, a large group of civil rights and religious leaders gathering on stage, taking turns denouncing what they heard in that leaked audio recording between 3 city council members and the LA County Federation of Labor president.
We as a people need to stand up and say, working with African Americans, Latinos, and Asian Pacific Islanders, we are going to move beyond this.
The chickens have come home to roost. We see who's for us, and we see who is against us.
They are referring to the racially charged remarks now ex-council president Nuri Martinez and the others made in a private meeting a year ago to discuss the redrawing of council district boundaries. One comment made by Martinez called Mike Bonin's young son, who is black.
Let's think about it for a second. I'll be real quick.
Hang on, let me.
And they're sitting in a back room
where is it?
telling monkey jokes.
This group demanding they resign immediately. Martinez, Gil Cedillo.
Go ahead.
I'll be real quick. Just think about this. Think about how strong the anti-blackness and racism is. Look at all the power that she had. Look at all that she risked. Look at this. She had to deal with this for the rest of her life. All she had to do was be a powerful person and not be racist. She was willing to risk it all. That's how, and I want to emphasize that. She was willing to risk it all. And it backfired on her because she couldn't hold her racism in. That's how strongly it enlightens people.
And that's how comfortable they are, because most of them talk like this about us, but we don't hear their, you know what I'm saying? Most of them don't get their audio leaked. But I'm pretty sure if we was to find some conversations from Biden and whoever the fuck and McCain and to the smallest of the mayors, a lot of people will be losing their fucking jobs. A lot of people will be stepping out of power.
Yep.
Because this is how they talk about us. And she felt comfortable enough. This was a year ago that this happened. She felt comfortable enough. I wonder what else they were saying.
I know.
How was it leaked, CJ? Do they know?
Somebody inside leaked it to Reddit, and then it circulated on Reddit, and then it was a small independent news organization. I think you retweeted it, Nick. I can't remember the name. LA Boss or something. They published it, and that's when everybody started finding out about it. Other than that, I'm not sure exactly the name of the person or if they even know who that was. Yeah, not sure. So since we're short on time, let's just kind of skip to this next part so we can close out this story. I just wanted to get to the part of showing how the activism part of this works. So the People's City Council, which is an activist group, they've been doing a lot of this work. Let me find the video here. I think it's this. Yeah, they've been doing a lot of the work on the ground for this. So let's watch some of the videos that they put together this morning. Like here's one of them. Let's listen. Sorry, I have so many things open. Let me close this other one. All right, so let's make it a little bit bigger and let's listen.
All right, so I'm also here with the blacks. It's 10-11, so it's 12. The state of Ethiopia is currently engaged in a big cycle to divide the region. So to welcome this new ambassador into these chambers, the remake cities all for Ethiopia signing off on the war crimes they committed. That's the main reason to vote against this. But besides that, every member of this council.
My bad. That's not the right one. Hang on 1 second.
I can't even hear his ass. He talking through his mask, man.
Yeah, no, that's not. I saw that, but that's one you gotta like literally listen in quiet because it's him talking to the council. What I wanted to show was the protest part, and that's them not allowing this meeting to go on without being heard. So let's
take over this shit. That's what I'm talking about. Hostile takeovers. They ain't always got to be bloody.
So this is one of the city council person being mad, and listen to what he says.
Whole meeting right here because it's illegitimate.
That's right.
The people are shutting this shit down.
That's right.
This whole thing is racist. The fact that that they have the audacity to sit here in front of the people that they mocked, that they minimized, that they demonized, that they marginalized is unacceptable. The fact that you are trying to continue with business as usual is unacceptable.
That's right. That's right.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
We are the people and we are the voices who matter in this room right now, not yours.
That's right.
I yield the rest of my time, but fuck this.
That's right.
Just one more where you can see the chanting. Right. So you heard one of them speaking. You heard one of them speaking at the mic. Now let's just show one video where you hear them chanting, walking into the room.
This is beautiful.
Yeah. So I think you've seen it already, Rome. But yeah.
I hope they're ready to stand up because we got to do a lot of we need this all over the nation for one, but people have to be really willing to stand against power, man, because a lot of these people, they are afraid of people with these positions of power for some reason. They won't question it. They just sit back and let shit happen, man.
I just want to highlight what Debo the Black Panther said. He said, that's why I trip when I hear folks talking about black and brown people. I work with a lot of racially diverse groups. I'm always dealing with racial comments.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's listen. I mean, this can play in the background as we continue the discussion and close this out because it's less talking, is more of just kind of chanting. So let's listen.
Get out of here, Gil! Fuck you, Gil! Resign, Gil! Fuck you, Get up, Kevin! You're next, Kevin! Get up, Leo! Leave! 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 Leave!
Look at that crowd. It's packed.
Get out of here, Kevin!
That's a great comment because look at all the cops. Look at who the cops are designed to protect.
Who are they protecting?
Why are the cops helping the people get the ruling class out of the institution they no longer had the mandate to serve? So if the police actually serve the people, they'd be like, "Hey, sorry guys, the people want you out, so I served them." Exactly. They were putting motherfuckers in handcuffs, but no, look at who the police serves. God, this is such a great illustration.
Who are they protecting? Go ahead, Sabby. Were you?
It's sad that I'm sorry, Sabby.
I was gonna say there's a black cop front and center.
Yeah, right here.
Like you protecting these racist motherfuckers. That's your. And I remember when
nice paycheck, massive fee, nice.
Right. What do you think they said about his daughter, his kids? If they called the other one a monkey.
Master gives me sleeps.
It's 25 more seconds. Let me play it.
Resign! Resign! Your racist comments are out of line. Resign! Resign!
Your racist comments are out of line. Resign! Resign! Your racist comments are out of line.
Kevin, let go of that ego, baby! Get the hell out! Get out, get him, man!
This is how the constituency, this is how we're supposed to treat politicians.
Yep.
This is the example of how you're supposed to talk to them any kind of way. You're supposed to call them out of their fucking name, especially if they're not doing nothing. But when we push back that way, we're out of line. We're toxic. This is exactly the engagement we're supposed to have. I'll pass it to the crew. I think that's the end of the segment.
Because these people are in control. And think about all the money and all the resources that they have held back from black communities just because, of the racism, just because of the like this is sick. It's sick. And man, I'm pretty sure they've done some damage that can't be undone. They have been in power for way too long. And man, we need to work with these people and get something like this going everywhere because man, it's gonna get nothing but worse around here, and we're gonna need people that's gonna have our back You know what I'm saying? People that's going to be willing to risk their lives. You know what I'm saying? Because these people are putting themselves in a position to be hurt by very powerful people, to be put on some type of list, be called a terrorist, et cetera, et cetera. But do whatever it takes if you love your people, if you want to see a future here, because these people are going to drive us off a fucking cliff.
I was just going to say, I learned in middle school when one of my classmates who was Asian American was having a birthday party. I learned, I guess, like at a young age, that we were not the same. Even though we're people of color, for her to tell the Black girls in the class that we can't be invited to her birthday party because her parents don't like Black people, not Latino people, specifically Black people. Now, we're both people of color. But even then, I realized, no, there's a big difference here. Her family still sees themselves as better than Black people, even though they're not white. So that's what people need to understand. Just because we're people of color per se, that doesn't necessarily mean that they see us on the same level as them and that they can't be racist towards us as well.
A lot of them.
What people got Jim Clyburn, man. Come on now.
There are a lot of quote unquote people of color who are white passing, who are more than happy to do whatever it takes to stay in good graces as white passing. So they engage in anti-Blackness. They are class loyal to the capitalist class, so they can blend in. And the sad and tragic part is there are a lot of East Asians who thought they was white passing, who learned after COVID-19 and the rise of Asian hate crimes, they learned the hard way. They're not as white as they thought they was. And
it's not funny, but that it's ironic, yeah.
Because there's a lot, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Some people might get mad at me for saying this, but East Asians, a lot, especially the white complexion ones, they got a strong amount of anti-Blackness, and they see themselves closer to white America than they do with Black people. That's why you see stories of Korean shop owners who kill and shoot Black people for shoplifting something that costs $1. It's something that's a problem. And it's good that the younger ones starting to get much more solidarity. And now the rise of Asian hate crimes by white America gone up. So now they're like, oh shit, they going after us too. We're not as white passing we thought we was. But I know I'm pissing some people off because some people not ready for that conversation.
But they're also accepted in white suburban communities where Black people are not.
Yeah, exactly.
And they know if they will still align themselves with the Blacks, then all that shit stops. They're going to be looked at differently from the public eye. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to lose that privilege of having a little bit of privilege. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can get to Tulsi story now while we still got time.
So whoever has the video, I'll get the banner up for you. But we can get started with the Tulsi video.
Yeah, I put the link in the private chat.
I can put it up if the link is already even.
I can open it. So Tulsi Gabbard has set the internet on fire because she said she released a video and it was like the least surprising video of all time, but it's very politically calculating. Tulsi is such a political calculator. A lot of people don't know this. Everyone knew she was not a Democrat anymore, but she released this video a few weeks before the midterms. Why I'm leaving the Democratic Party, and people who play the red-blue game, and they so invested in the red-blue game that you make an announcement that you switching teams. That shows how unserious you are. So this announcement we see, but I can tell you what's gonna happen. It's been obvious. I sent out to you guys see like 2 years ago because I met Tulsi a long time ago. And when you meet Tulsi, you realize what kind of snake politician she really is. And I say that because you can look at my old YouTube video. I talked about my conversation I had with her. That's when I was much more sympathetic to Tulsi. So as someone who met Tulsi, I can tell you she's a fucking chameleon. Bro, when I talked to her in South Carolina, she had a rally. Remember, that's when all the candidates was down there. I was down there canvassing for Bernie. Once again, I got a YouTube video on my old channel where I talk about it. Bro, she sound radical, revolutionary because she was talking to me. We were talking about police violence. We were talking about imperialism. We even joked about Hillary Clinton. And now she turned to a cop lover. Now she's talking about anti-white identity.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Man, I turned that shit off. Like, fuck out of here.
So Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, AOC is an amazing case study on why you do not trust politicians. Do not trust these people who are begging you for money and power. If someone is anointed, like I anoint Rome, right? Then they could accept that, right? But if someone is seeking that money and power as a politician, do not trust these motherfuckers. I learned that the hard way because I was extremely sympathetic to Tulsi early on. Now she's a full clown. So I'm gonna end it there. There's a lot to break down in the video. I don't know what's long, the YouTube video or the let's see how long the I don't know. Let's see, because we can play this clip too. Yeah. Oh,
the
hell
YouTube
no, yeah.
video.
Let's play this clip. Yeah, the YouTube video too damn long. I ain't watched it yet. So let's play this clip. And we can talk about it. That's fine.
I mean, we can do both. I was gonna play this first, and then this has 5 million views. This has 5 million views. So let's watch. I actually haven't seen it, so this is my first time seeing it.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined.
So I'm gonna let it play, and then I'll rewind it because I have a lot to say already. Yeah, 2 spots I want to go back to, so I'll let it play all the way through, and then we'll start it all the way over.
Well, she trying to set a record.
Are they warmongers or are they cowards?
Who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
So I'll rewind it. Any initial comments, and then we can take it apart piece by piece. But go ahead.
Tulsi said, "Join me."
We've already left. What are you talking about?
See, and you see how this anti-blackness, like this some anti-blackness shit. You know that anti-woke shit.
Yes.
Stop shitting on the word woke. I know that white people have butchered it, but it's still our term. That's like saying that you know what I'm saying. Y'all still can't use the N-word. So stop using our fucking term. Stop using our words. All the yes queens.
I almost want to start using it again because
just to get that's why I call myself woke. There's
a lot of stuff in the beginning of this that is very great resetist. Like I'm a great resetist. There's a lot of keywords that she's giving off in the beginning of this.
It's capitalism, Tulsi. You coward.
Yeah, listen. But listen to
I can no longer remain in today's
listen to this
Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of war.
The particular word cabal, that's a word. It's the same thing as using like globalists.
Yeah.
They're using these they're like code words for the people she's going after. It's the same like MAGA communist sort of place, the same people.
Warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness,
cowardly wokeness. What is that? So what do they mean again, Nick, about wokeness? How are they using it? What do they mean by that?
Well, let me explain how deeply unserious this clown is. So she's over here talking about wokeness while complaining about anti-white racism. So aren't you being woke there, Tulsi? So isn't that funny? Do you guys see what the right wing always do? The people, they will look at revolutionary black culture. We talk about serious issues. You know how like black people are 40% of the homelessness population? The fact that police kill 3 people per day, the fact that our government is funding ethnic and cultural genocide across the world, you know, serious stuff. Then they will look at us and they'll be like, oh, revolutionary blackout. They just play identity politics. Meanwhile, look at the right wing. Tulsi Gabbard has to repeat. She got to say that anti-white racism is a problem to appeal to the conservatives because, like I have said many times, the conservatives and the right wing in this country are deeply unserious, and it's nothing but white identity politics.
Yes.
So she rails against wokeness. Meanwhile, you're repeating right wing wokeness.
Is she white?
Anti-white.
Is she white?
No,
Like I've
she-
never heard of a person of color coming to defend, like, and pointing out anti-whiteness. Go ahead, Sabby.
I think she's half Indian and half Hawaiian.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
These people like, oh my God, stop playing the race card, black people. Even though there's literally white supremacy that we see every day. Stop playing the race card. Oh, by the way, there's a extreme amount of anti-white racism. So it's okay when you guys play the race card.
And when she says anti-religion, she's specifically talking about the trans issue because for some reason she's on the trans issue, like complaining about it, or on the wrong side of the trans issue. But I think when she's talking about being like ridiculed for your religious belief, I believe that's specifically what she's referring to with that particular.
Isn't that wokeness? Why you sound so woke, Tulsi? Oh my God, you guys are mocking our religious belief. Hey, Tulsi, grow a thicker skin. Isn't that what you guys
freedom of
say?
speech.
Hey, I thought it's freedom of speech. I thought facts was over your feelings. You guys see how they do the same exact thing as liberals. That's why I look at Trump supporters to their face. I say you're just a fucking liberal. The same identity politics that Democrats weaponize, you guys do the same thing.
Yeah, you do the same. They just say it, they're getting it done to them, and that's their identity. That's their woke white. That's their white identity politics. It's saying because of all your cultural stuff you're trying to push. I'm the victim. CRT. I'm the victim of everything that's happening. To your point,
JB, I think JB, do you want to chime in?
Yeah. First of all, this entire 1 minute and 19 seconds of a clusterfuck doesn't sound very Spirit of Aloha to me. First of all. Second of all, the fact that she's talking about anti-wokeness, it's like, wait a minute. You're talking about anti-wokeness. What really is, are you socially conscious? Are you anti-economically conscious? Is that what you're talking about? Because the thing is that you're appealing to the sensibilities of the oppressor. Why are you doing this? And so that's my issue. And then on top of it, she talks about being persecuted for her religious beliefs. I mean, weren't you the one who kept saying radical Islamist terrorism?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but you keep throwing Muslims under the bus. And I'm not saying that two wrongs make a right, but here's the thing. Tulsi, look inward. You're wrong on this. Because and then she talks about anti-whiteness. My sweet summer child, where in the hell do you see it being anti-white in the upper echelons of our society? I'm sorry. Last time I checked, most of the people who actually run this country, i.e. this world, aren't this hue. They don't have this much melanin.
Hey, JB, we sent a tweet that hurt their feelings, though. We hurt their feelings sometimes. I know that we face
snowflake then, I guess.
I was just gonna say, sorry, I got that wrong. It says that she's Southeast Asian, European, and Polynesian. Sorry, wanted to correct that.
Since you're leaving in a few minutes, let's give Sabby an opportunity. Any last words, anything coming up, what's going on before you take off here? Because I think we're going to continue with the story once you take off.
You know what's interesting? She's talking about like all this woke language. For people who are not aware, Tulsi Gabbard, when she ran for president in 2020, had a reparations plan as a part of her platform. A reparations plan for African Americans.
Is that not
I
woke?
think it's not. So what happened to Tulsi Gabbard? Just remember, she endorsed Joe Biden.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Over Bernie.
She had a criminal justice plan
with
very
Bernie,
similar to Bernie, where she wanted to legalize marijuana, where she was talking about holding police accountable. Now in her tweet, she said something cringe like, "Well, I gotta leave the Democrats because they are demonizing the police." Joe Biden is literally proposing a new crime bill that will put 100,000 more police on the streets.
Don't forget the open borders with the wall that he's building. You know, with the wall that he continued to build from Trump. With the open borders, they love some reason that's an open border. Like I don't get this shit, and I hate that these people, you know, it's too many people that don't even know what these terms mean, right? Because woke, it's a term that came from the Black community. I know we talked about this, but we have to talk about this because a lot of you people aren't going to get it right. You're going to say something to the wrong person, you're going to get hurt.
Don't say nothing like that in the hood.
Yeah.
Don't be calling. Don't be using
like
woke
what?
that way.
Because what it means to be woke. If the Democratic Party was woke, they wouldn't be ran by white supremacists, right? If the Democratic Party was woke, they wouldn't be funding the police, right? They wouldn't be funding wars. They would realize that the government is actually evil. That's what it means to be woke. It means to wake up and realize that they are after you, that they hate you, they hate your skin color, they hate the way you walk, talk, breathe. They will make a fucking dollar off of you after you die if they could. That's what it means to be woke. All this bullshit that that all these other motherfuckers that put in our that butchered this term with it means nothing, because in the hood it still means to be awakened with reality and what's going on around you. That's what's being that's what it means. Not all of that bullshit that you made up, not that boogeyman that you made up in order to have somebody to yell at and be mad at on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, wherever the fuck. Get your shit right. If you're gonna use terms from Black people, use it the right way. But you know you can't do that because it's gonna call out your whole little grift here. Talking about anti-white and wokeness and what the fuck? We have seen none of that. We just gave the police billions upon billions of dollars in the last 2 years. Fuck out of here, man. This is why, and I'm so happy that this one goes right in with that last fucking shit that we was talking about with the city council, with the president of the city council. It goes hand to hand of how colored folk enables white supremacy. We got Jim Clyburn, we had Barack Obama, we got all of these motherfuckers around us, and they will sell us out just like she's selling out her people, not only Black people, but her people. Because when Black people when Black people just disappear and get the fuck on how y'all want, go back to whatever, guess who's gonna be next to get oppressed?
Let's give Sabby.
Sabby, go ahead.
Let's give Sabby the last word because she has to take off. So,
Yes,
Sabby, what's going on, or anything else you want to contribute to this segment?
I just think, I think last year we started to see who Tulsi Gabbard, like she was starting to make a shift and stuff like that. I think Tulsi Gabbard's just trying to remain relevant at this point. I really do. I don't take her seriously politically. But yeah, basically like what I'm going to be working on. You guys know I covered a housing story recently. There's another one that's come my way about evictions that have been happening locally in Boston, that they're about to evict a group of people and put them into like a mental housing for the time being. It's really crazy. So there's a lot of like housing stories that are coming out, and what I'm going to try to do, because I can't film everything all the time, but what I'm going to try to do is just gather all those stories and write an article so that people can see that this thing like the eviction moratorium was not a long-term solution. People are still being evicted. The mayor and the governors aren't doing anything about it. And this whole idea of affordable housing and what that really means and how it's not really affordable and the definition of that and how they're able to get away with that. So that's something I want to plan on working on in the future. But yep.
Awesome, Sabby. Are you on tonight? You're on tonight at your regular time tonight?
Yeah, 7 tonight. There's a candidate coming on for Green Party that's running for state auditor. She's going to come on, and then we have news stories.
Awesome. So make sure you check out Sabby tonight. See you later, Sabby. I'll put you in the back, and make sure you check her out 7 p.m. Are you streaming tonight? So I don't think there's any overlap. So
yeah,
should be good. I know I'm not streaming tonight. So
yeah, make sure talk about Tulsi. But isn't it funny? We literally just did a segment, and we were talking about how quote unquote people of color can enable white supremacy. And right after we got done talking about that, we see a perfect example of that. this person who believes that you're woke if you talk about racism against Black people and Latinos, but look that she put anti-white racism front and center. We see you, you clowns. We see through you. You're not.
Who gives a fuck about white people? Don't even give a fuck about anti-whiteness. Look, who gives a fuck? Y'all making up boogeymans. You guys are making up something to be scared at. Get a fucking life, dude. All of you motherfuckers in politics, you're into politics. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Politics is into you. You didn't fuck with this dumbass shit.
In every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding America.
She's saying Democratic establishment demonizes police. I just would like to see that. Where is this at?
If that's her person being demonized, I want the Democrats to demonize the shit out of our community.
Oh, baby, come in.
Like me, daddy. Demonize me harder, daddy.
Yeah, demonize me, baby. Come on home, baby.
Checks. As long as you come with them fucking checks.
Joe Biden demonize. They're funding the police at record amounts. So that way it means to demonize, bro. Demonize the shit out of me.
Borders who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents. And
they're talking about Trump. There's so much that she's shouting out to conservatives and Republicans.
Above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
What do you mean so-called woke? They don't call themselves that. They don't call themselves woke. You're calling them conservatives call the liberals and the Democratic Party woke. They don't call themselves that. Go ahead.
CJ,
Trump was like, the motherfucker was like, remember when Trump and Biden was debating about who's gonna fund the police more if they win? When have they ever demonized? When January 6th happened, they said, "Hey guys, we almost got killed." The police need $1 billion.
I'm gonna pass it to JB, but I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go get my daughter. But you guys, I know you guys have got to cover that story that JB posted, the police gangs in the Los Angeles Sheriff Department, because that shit has been going on. It's literal gangs, and then if you got time, entire Uvalde Police Department got fired. But I'm gonna check out. I gotta get my daughter. You guys have a good one. Like the stream on my way out. Make sure you guys keep liking the stream, even though I'm gone. So I'm out of here.
All right,
what you about to say, JB?
So here's the thing: when people talk about woke, the Democratic Party is not woke. We're woke. They are not woke. Just like what Rome said. Y'all see, this is why y'all need to listen to Rome. Because Rome be telling y'all shit and y'all don't be listening. If we were truly woke, Joe Biden would not be president. If we were truly woke, right, we wouldn't even have billionaires in this country. If we were truly woke, Obama would have codified Roe v. Wade into law in 2008, like he said he was going to do. Mm-hmm. If we were truly woke, we wouldn't have homelessness. If we were truly woke, we wouldn't have billionaires. If we truly were woke, there wouldn't be white supremacy. If we were truly woke, we would have gotten our reparations already. If they were truly woke, but they're not. See, here's the thing that the Democratic Party, they put on a veneer of wokeness. They are racist and woke face. That's what they are. Yep. And that's what people need to realize. The Democratic Party is just as racist as the Republican Party. The only difference is one is overt, one is covert. There's no difference outside of that. So when people are like, oh, you guys are woke, stop making it into a derogatory term. You're taking a term that was useful for us to recognize being economically and socially conscious, and now you're making it sound like it's a bad thing. Stop appealing to that word being a derogatory term.
Why don't you want to do that?
Well, why do you guys think Tulsi Gabbard pushed this so much? Why do you guys think the politicians push this so much? They want a dumbed down proletariat. They want a proletariat that is anti-intellectual, that is not community based. They want them to be dumb, so they push bullshit out like anti-woke politics. Mm-hmm. Now, once again, and I show you guys an example how they actually do the same thing they criticize us for doing, like with Tulsi fear mongering over anti-white racism. Now, like what JB and Rome has been saying, in what universe did the Democratic Party woke? Now, if I talk to Jackson, I talk to these patriotic socialists who demonize the use of the word woke, right? And they will say, well, we understand what you guys are saying. What we actually mean is these people, they claim they are anti-racist, but they actually support imperialism. And I'm like, why don't you just explain that, you lazy motherfucker? This is they understand the concept. They're like, yeah, we understand that people are not woke, but we're gonna still use the term. We're still gonna justify the right-wing talking point. We're still gonna take your term from us instead of just explaining the concept that the Democratic Party is not woke. Like, why not do that?
But Nick, here's the thing. If Eddie Lager Smith can explain it just like you just said, then the other ones can explain it too, because he explained it just exactly like you said, that they co-opted wokeness, the word woke, in order to make it into a derogatory term. And I, you know, I'm thankful for him doing that. But other people use it like a derogatory term, and I'm like, look, if you guys truly want to be in community with us, then please stop appealing to this sensibility of people who are white that think they're being oppressed when they're not. The thing is, the system is actually created and built for them. Really,
you just don't know how to take advantage of it. You mad at us for it?
It's like you guys can't do that. You know, it's like why? You know, it's like because this is how they use the racist undertones and the microaggressions in order to divide us, so that guess what? You end up being against other people, and they end up being against you, and then the rich people running out the back door with all the money. And that's the way it is.
I asked this question before. If you are not woke, are you sleeping?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Why wouldn't you want to be woke? Why wouldn't you want to be awakened and know what's going on? What are you doing? It makes no sense for you to be anti-woke, anti-intelligence, anti-learning. What are you getting? Where are you going with this? Because it makes no sense. And for you people to claim to be our allies, to take a term that we have used for generations now and to use it to shit on your enemies with, you're no ally, bro. You just as bad as your enemy and ours. Mm-hmm. What kind of shit is that?
I'm gonna share this before I gotta go soon, but I'm gonna share this to give you guys an example. Like, there's so many examples I can give you guys. This is the first one that comes to mind. There's so many examples of these, but this is before Black Lives Matter was shamelessly co-opted. This is when you had the Ferguson movement in Missouri running it. Then we had the real activists that was here in the street calling for defunding the police. And then the Democrats was shitting their bed because the original Black Lives Movement was calling out Barack Obama. Then a bunch of Hillary super PAC and DNC frauds bought out the Black Lives Matter people after the Ferguson protesters was killed and arrested by the police. The real activist was killed and arrested. And then the people who was co-opted was promoted as leaders. So this is the memo they sent where Democrats, they sent a memo and said, do not support Black Lives Matter. Do you guys know this? And Nancy Pelosi was asked about this in like 2020. They said, do you support Black Lives Matter? She said, no, I do not. This is, I quoting her. I do not support Black Lives Matter. I support the police. That is what she said in front of millions of people. And people still pretend this is a party that support Black people. The memo recommend reframing for saying all lives matter, talking about Black on Black crime as responses to activists, calling out both red herring. Staff were told to meet with activists and listen to them, though invitations to activists should be limited and meetings should be personal and small groups. And then they later explain in this article how the memo is pretty much saying, make sure you're very clear that you do not support the ask of the movement. And this is the party that people think is demonizing the police is woke. It's unbelievable. The same party that put 100,000 police on the streets. Meanwhile, I'll probably head out. JB.
Well, before you go, I wanna address this comment because this is actually very interesting. The Woke Report says Boots Riley still struggles to get his films made, but hey, The Little Mermaid is now Black and Velvet is now gay. Woke, please. That's not woke. It's tokenism. I think this is what we need to start saying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tokenism. And tokenism, I think, is a more appropriate word. For many people who are in this space who consider themselves to be allies with us, I think they need to stop using the word woke and start saying, well, the Democratic Party is tokenizing. If you start saying that, it makes more of a distinction. I think that's would be more respectful also to us Black people in this space too.
Yeah, they discovered what tokenism is and they created a whole new war for it. And they thought they discovered something new. But I know like we probably gotta cover the other story tomorrow. You want to cover it? I gotta go. I'll probably gotta head out. What you got coming up, JB?
Actually, I'll be on my channel again tonight. I'll be talking to Savage Joy on my channel. We're going to be talking about March for Medicare for All and also what she's doing as far as the United Nations is concerned. That's going to be an interesting conversation. And I'm going to try to get her in trouble too. So
that should be fun. That should be fun.
Yeah.
So we was going to have Wyatt Reed on tonight, but we scheduled that to Thursday. So we're going to do that at, I believe, at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, and then we will hand off to JB and Savvy Show after that as well. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We have content coming at you guys every single day. Make sure you guys subscribe to Revolutionary Discourse. Now, I think I might do a late call in tonight to talk about the Tulsi situation. And I want to put pressure on people on calling because I took a little break last week. I'm gonna ask people about their plan for the midterms because I want to convince people to go third party. So I think I'm gonna do a call in about whether you should lead the Democratic Party or not. I think you guys know where I stand on it. But anyway, I got lots of Ron. What you got coming up before we wrap up?
Oh man, I actually got something big coming up. I can't say too much, but I'm getting something together for the Care Party, and like I'm working on something for the left to have our own little like FDA, CDC type stuff. I got a couple of people that that work in science and whatnot, and they can test the foods for ourselves. So we can test the foods for ourselves and really show us what people are putting into their bodies and if it's safe or not. Regardless of what the government says. So there's a couple of things I got planned, and I got Kami's cuts. We're supposed to be going for the winter, so I'm gonna try and stack up for a couple of plows so we can plow a couple of Detroit neighborhoods that the city just don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be taking care of the community in the winter. We're gonna make sure that we convert over. And that's about it. That's all I got.
All right, fam. Appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you guys support the Patreon. Support our work. We got Activist Summit next week. We got a lot of great stuff coming up for you guys. A lot of great guests that I'm working on. Super excited for the future of RBN. I love the community here. Much love and respect to all you guys. And I know we have a lot of fun on the channel, but I want you guys to get involved. I was at the Casey Tennis rally. You guys saw Savvy Sabs at the Julian Assange rally. I promise you guys, once you show up and you meet these people who are passionate about these issues, to the point where they will go to an event as well, you will be. It's infectious. Like the Casey Tenant rally this weekend was amazing. The Julian Assange rally this weekend was amazing. But even if you can't do that, help your neighbor. Reject individualism. Let's come together as a community and let's help each other up and show each other revolutionary love. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great week.